Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale Star Wars The Clone Wars figure unboxing and review. Today, we're taking a look at the 104th Battalion Wolfpack Clone Trooper, specifically the deluxe one. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down that way, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as brand new Clone Wars content goes live. They've done something so interesting with the 104th Battalion Wolfpack Clone Trooper. I think they knew that they couldn't just chuck us a random unnamed clone for the display because they've made so many clone troopers. I don't know about y'all, but when I run out of space on the shelf, unnamed clones are usually the first figures to go because I'd much rather have Waxer, Boyle, Echo, Fives, Rex, Cody, even Wolf. They found a way around that. With the deluxe version of the 104th Battalion clone, you get a Phase 1 and Phase 2 bucket for Comet, or a Phase 2 bucket for Boost. Not only does that get around the unnamed clone thing, but it encourages us to buy multiples, because you've got multiple different display options and so many accessories packed in. As for the box art, up front, Phase 2 Comet with the rocket launcher, then on the glossy Clone Wars color scheme wraparound banner, Comet again but with the Phase 1 bucket, wearing the backpack and holding the rotary blaster. This video is brought to you by JustinsCollection.shop, the home of the figure first aid kit, as well as other accessories to help your collection be the best it can be. The first aid kit contains multiple tools to help you with maintenance, styling rooted hair, and much more. We also sell crotch grabbers, soft rubber tips to prevent damage, and they're compatible with most modern Hot Toys base molds. Acrylic risers come in multi-packs, they're optically clear, thick and sturdy, and stackable. Check out the link to JustinsCollection.shop in the description. I want them to keep doing this. 212th, Waxer and Boyle helmets. That way I would totally pick up multiples, but on the side of the box, Phase 2 Boost, holding the much longer DC-15 rifle. Around the back, warnings and legal information, as well as their store locations. Okay, that's some pretty sick artwork. Figure photography. I would love to see something like this on the front of the box, for example, versus on the inside of it, because it's much more exciting compared to what we just looked at. First in-hand impressions for the Wolfpack Clone Trooper. So far, so good. It's pretty much just par for the course. We've looked at so many clones on the channel already, and new paint job, but same body, same armor sculpt. We'll get stuck into it. What we're going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, it seems like they're sticking with the weathering on their Star Wars Imperial / in this instance Republic tile flooring bases. The black wash in the crevices, the very fine silver scratches, the heavier chipping around the edges. That's a good thing for me because I've always loved this look for their Star Wars bases. Going forward, I want all of the Clone Trooper bases to look like this, but do vary the scratches, Hot Toys. Don't just print the same weathering pattern on every single Star Wars base. Around the front, it says Star Wars 104th Battalion Wolfpack Clone Trooper. That is a very busy nameplate. And up top, a height-adjustable waist clamp. I reckon the reason why they went with a waist clamp over a crotch grabber is probably the jetpack, but I'm not a fan of these. I'll be switching out the waist clamp for a Justin's Collection crotch grabber. I sell them on my stall, link in the description, because as I said, waist clamps, just not my vibe. They're not even that good for aerial poses, waist clamps. I would prefer to switch out the entire thing for a flight pole if I was going to display him with a jetpack, because those, they just go straight up and down. You can't angle them, you can't rotate them. Not very exciting for dynamic aerial poses. Speaking of aerial poses, the jetpack has some foam padding on the back to protect his back armor from scratching when you pop this on there with a magnet. There's weathering all over it. And we've got the same blast effects as usual. They plug into the bottom, but it's a very tight connection, and they're a little bit spiky, so do be careful when you're trying to plug these in. We'll be checking out all 3 of these buckets on the figure a little bit later, but for right now, all you need to know is we get 3 buckets with the deluxe version. Phase 1 Comet, Phase 2 Comet, and Phase 2 Boost. I like the wolf motif up front with Boost, but I'm leaning towards one of the Comet helmets just because there's so much more going on up front, and there's the red line work on the Phase 1 plus the fin. They've even painted the red light around the back this time, but they've not corrected the mouth lines, and you bet we will be discussing that in the pros and cons segment. If you're curious about compatibility with like macro binoculars and stuff, you can pop out the earpieces using a tool. They do not include a tool nor any switch outs like macro binoculars. So you'd have to use a set that come with another clone that you've already got in the collection. They should have really included macro binoculars with a deluxe clone trooper in my opinion, but they didn't. The DC-15 long rifle is just that, quite long. It's painted in gunmetal, there's some silver chipping over the top, and this superheated look for the barrel up front with some metallic blue and purple paint. It's the little pops of color that get me with these weapons. The rocket launcher, there's some gold rivets, red on the sight, and even some green up front. I swear this bracket could move. Maybe I'm misremembering, but it is securely glued in place. It absolutely does not move with this new version of the rotary cannon. There's some copper-colored paint apps for this ribbed section up front, more of it around the back, and this too is heavily weathered. The jury is still out on if this is supposed to be a stock. Some folks have told me they've stretched it over the handle, then pulled it all the way back. It really doesn't seem to want to do that. At least they've tightened up the connections so it doesn't just flop down with this version of the DC-15S blaster carbine. I see the backpack more so as part of his look versus an accessory, but it attaches with these straps. No magnets, unfortunately. There's some padded sections on it. Heaps of scratching and some pitting even on the inside, and the canvas top is weathered. You can store his spare hands in this if you want. I like to do that with my clones, that way when you're changing out the pose, you don't have to go hunting for the box or looking through drawers or tubs for accessories. They're already stored on him in his backpack. And lastly, a pretty lackluster array of hands. We're getting less and less when it comes to hands with Hot Toys clones. Hot Toys, quit doing that. Give us more hands. Relaxed open palm ones, matte finish for the gloved sections. There's some wrinkling and some line work sculpted in. Then some speckling, some weathering on the back of the hand armor. 2 trigger finger hands painted in the exact same way. And 2 gesturing hands, pointing one, thumbs up one, but only for the left side. We don't even get pairs of these. Hot Toys, what are you doing to us? What we're going to do now is get the 104th Battalion Wolfpack clone trooper himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. If you're interested in that stuff, make sure you stick around to the end of the video. Wolfpack clone troopers. They either really excite you because of Commander Wolf and what you can do in terms of posing them together with him, or they really bore you because the color scheme is very grayscale. Yes, there's some red on Comet's Phase 1 bucket, but this is not a 501st clone. It's not a 212th. It's not a Coruscant Guard, a Shock Trooper. Red, orange, green, blue. All of those color schemes for clones, much more exciting than this. You need to be a die-hard Star Wars clone trooper fan to want to get this because it is not the most exciting looking design for a clone trooper, being totally honest. I mean, I paid money for this, I clearly like it, but at the end of the day, there are more visually interesting clones than Wolfpack clone troopers. With that being said, have they executed this design well in 1/6 scale? Yes, they have. They're masters at giving us clones at this point. This is paint by numbers for them. They've reused pretty much everything. There is nothing new here, sculpt-wise. It's all paint apps. Up close and personal, kicking things off with Comet's Phase 1 bucket. Then we'll move on to Phase 2. After that, change him up to Boost. But the Phase 1 helmet, as happy as I am to have it, is wildly inaccurate. It's far too big on the body. Look at that. It's completely out of proportion. We don't have the lines on the chest plate to make this a Phase 1 chest plate, therefore it doesn't mesh with the helmet. And the mouth lines, you already know they're just not right. But what is wrong with me? I am still leaning towards displaying him with the Phase 1 bucket, even though it's not perfect. After we've tried out all 3 helmets, let me know which look you prefer down in the comments. But it's not like it's all sunshine and rainbows with the Phase 2 bucket either. Yes, it's smaller in scale, and now the chest plate makes more sense because this is a Phase 2 chest plate paired up with a Phase 2 bucket, but he looks like he's got no neck. You can adjust for it by bringing the neck back, but then he's looking up. I wish the sculpt was on a height adjustable neck connector. That way you could bring it up and down to accommodate whichever pose you're trying to go with. As it stands, what you see is what you get. So this is Comet's bucket. Let's switch it up to boosts. It's definitely less busy versus Comet's. All of the line work and the patterns on the front, that's gone. We've just got the white strip down the front, the grey on the sides, grey ears, and the wolf up top. It screams Wolfpack Clone Trooper because there's literally a wolf motif on the front of the helmet. If you're getting only one of these, I reckon Boost Bucket might be the way to go. Even around the back, they're very different. It's not like they've just included 2 helmets that are virtually the same. The paint applications are drastically different between them. Around the back, there's weathering on the chest plate, but all of that will be covered up by the jetpack once you install it. There's no real locking mechanism, it just sits on there. Once you have this installed, it moves around a little. I would suggest styling in the pose first, then installing the jetpack. While we're on the jetpack, I probably should have covered this in the accessory segment. You can remove the rocket, and it's blast effect compatible. You can plug a blast effect into it, pretty tight fit, then wedge the blast effect into the top of the jetpack, make it look like he's firing the rocket out of it. Alright, switched it up now. We've got the backpack installed. You can access the canvas flap still, magnet closure up front. The straps tend to fall in the gap between the shoulder pads and the chest armor, so this is another thing you'll likely have to adjust after your posing is done. Asymmetrical paint apps marking on the left shoulder pad, but not the right. Weathering everywhere. There's brown speckling, there's black washes. In the sculpted detail, there's even a little bit of red speckling. It all comes together to make this guy look like a proper veteran. He's been stomping around on the battlefield. His armor is not pristine. He's not a shiny. The only issue with all of this weathering, the way they've printed it on the surface of the armor, is that no matter how many of these you buy, all of the weathering patterns are going to be identical. Same scratches, same pitting in all the same places. So if you get 2 of them, just be prepared that the battle damage is going to be identical between them. His belt is PVC plastic, it's adjustable, you can move it round, cover up the gap between the cod piece and the ab armor. Then we've got the ribbed fabric bodysuit, stretchy spandex. This figure is bulletproof. As long as you're not pinching the rubbery straps for the elbow guards and the knee pads in any joints, there's nothing else to worry about. You can pose the shit out of him. And they've not just weathered the white sections, there's lighter grey scratching and speckling on the darker grey sections as well. I'm not sure what kind of printing process they've used, but it feels a little bit rough and gritty, as though the armor is actually pitted. It's not just paint on the surface, which is what it actually is. Coming down to the boots, weathering there. Is there anything on the underside? They haven't weathered the tread, completely clean, but painted in grey and sculpted. I may not have shown you how to install the backpack. Let's go over removing it. It's the same process as installing it, just in reverse. Bring the arms back, then you can slide the backpack off the straps. They're lined with a textured fabric, so they're a little bit grippy, but that's a good thing when you've got it installed so it doesn't move around too much. For a quick side-by-side comparison, Phase 2 boost on the left, Phase 1 Commander Cody on the right. Much to nobody's surprise, I'm sure, 2 clone troopers at the shoulders, they're the same height, and they should be. In universe, they're clones. In 1/6 scale, they share a lot of the same parts and pieces. Underlying base body, much of the armor, and the ribbed fabric bodysuit. So this new Wolfpack clone, he's going to fit right in alongside the rest of your clone troopers. Going over articulation, chances are, if you're watching this, you probably already own a Hot Toys Clone Trooper. If not, let's go over it anyway. Ball joint at the base of the neck, double ball peg inside the bucket, looking forward to there, up to there, enough range for a jetpack pose, swivel, and some pivot side to side. The shoulder pads can tuck underneath the chest armor straps, allowing the arms to go up to there, a little bit more than a T pose, forward and back. Butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend on ratchets at the elbow. I like to tuck the strap for the elbow guard underneath the bicep armor, but you can put it over the top as well, just so it's not pinched in that joint, going past 90. Then for the wrist peg, it's a ratcheted hinge and swivel. Torso crunching forward to there, pretty restricted by the belt and multiple overlapping pieces of armor, of course. Going back to there gets a little gappy. Swivel and some pivot side to side. Ratchet joints at the hips, legs will go forward to there, but then you can rotate the thigh armor, get a few more clicks out of them, but they hinge outwards at the same time. You need to manage that. Going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Double bend at the knee on soft ratchets going past 90. Once again, I like to tuck these straps, but you can have them over the top if you prefer. And a double ball peg for the ankles. The way this piece of armor is cut limits range forward and back. You do get swivel though, and some ankle tilt. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing is, where are all the hands? Hot Toys, why do you keep taking more and more away with each subsequent Clone Trooper release? No closed fists, no splayed out finger open palm hands, not even one of them, and no 2-finger pointing hand. Those field signal gestures, they are really important for clones. I would like to see this trend go the other way for future Clone Troopers. Give us more hands, Hot Toys, not less. The second annoying thing is they've still not fixed the mouth lines for the Phase 1 buckets. I get it, the argument that if they fix it now, then the new versions of Clone Trooper Phase 1 helmets won't match what's already in our collections. I don't subscribe to that logic. I would much rather have something be accurate than them just keep it wrong for the sake of consistency. The third annoying thing is, seriously, Hot Toys, a waist clamp? No, this just doesn't work for me. Some people might dig the waist clamps, but I much prefer regular old crotch grabbers. Luckily, their display base is 100% compatible with the crotch grabbers I sell on my site, justinscollection.shop, so for my display, I'll be switching out the waist clamp for this. The first cool thing is not really army building potential, but if you get multiples of the Wolfpack clone, you can either have Phase 1 or Phase 2 Comet or Boost. So at the very least, picking up 2 of these isn't the worst idea in the world. You get 2 named clone troopers for the display. The second cool thing is all of the weapons, DC-15S blaster carbine, long rifle, the rocket launcher, and the rotary cannon. We get so many options. I am now not sure how I'm going to display him, but the benefit with receiving these 2 things specifically is if you've got other clones in the collection that didn't come with them, well, now they've got some new accessories to be posed with. Wrapping up on the 104th Battalion Wolfpack Clone Trooper, aka Phase 1 and Phase 2 Comet, Phase 2 Boost. This is a great clone. Is it my favorite Hot Toys Clone Trooper? It's up there, but I mean, Captain Rex, Commander Cody, the Coruscant Guard, Echo and Fives, they exist, so competition is stiff for a clone trooper like this. It's a deluxe set, so that helps it. You've got multiple different looks in the box, you've got heaps of weapons, but at the end of the day, I can't see this being anyone's only clone trooper on the shelf. If you've got Wolf coming, you need to have this. If you've got Plo Koon coming, you need to get this. Maybe even 2 of them. Imagine the display. Plo Koon, Commander Wolf, 2 Wolfpack clone troopers. That sounds glorious. Just go in knowing that all of the same drawbacks as usual are present here because this is identical. Just the base figure, not taking into account paint applications, as all of Hot Toys' previous Clone Trooper releases. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down that way, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.